Have you ever felt completely stuck? Trapped inside your own head while you watch the world just keep moving on without you? Well, today we're going to crack open some ancient Stoic wisdom and turn it into a real, actionable guide for breaking free from that mental prison of overthinking.
First things first, we've got to understand what we're up against. And let's be clear, this isn't about deep creative thinking. Oh no, this is about a destructive cycle that literally keeps us frozen in place. We have all been there. You're caught in this endless loop, right? The what-ifs just keep piling up, and it feels like this giant wave is about to crash down on you. Your brain is screaming, just analyze it one more time. Find the perfect plan before you do anything. But you and I both know that perfect moment never, ever arrives. Yeah, we tell ourselves we're just being smart, strategic. But let's be real for a second. More often than not, overthinking is just a really clever way our minds trick us into avoiding the scary part. Making a decision and maybe, just maybe, failing. It's exhausting, isn't it? You burn all this mental energy and you feel productive. But in reality, you're just on a hamster wheel, running in a maze that you built for yourself. You're getting absolutely nowhere. So how do we break out? Well, the Stoics knew the escape hatch wasn't to think even harder. It was something way more direct, something that just slices right through all that mental noise. The antidote, my friends, is action. I mean, this quote from the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius just hits you, right? It's the absolute core of the Stoic mindset. Stop daydreaming about the person you want to be. Stop debating the perfect strategy. The world doesn't care about your thoughts. It rewards what you actually do. It's time to just be that person. We usually get this completely backward. We think we need perfect clarity before we can act, but that's a total myth. See, clarity doesn't come first, it's the result of action. You take one small step, maybe an imperfect one, you see what happens, you learn, you adapt, and boom, through that process, you find the very clarity you were waiting for. It's a loop, not a straight line. And Seneca just nails the psychology of it all here. Fear has this incredible power to make mountains out of molehills. When you're stuck overthinking, you blow every little problem way out of proportion. But the simple act of just deciding, making any decision, it cuts through that fog of fear. It creates momentum. And all of a sudden, that difficult path doesn't seem so impossible after all. Okay, so we know action is the answer. But how do we get our minds on board? Let's stack our mental toolbox with 3 really powerful tools. They're going to help us get there. Now, this one sounds almost too simple, but trust me, it's the bedrock of everything else. The most effective people on the planet aren't bogged down in a million different details. Nope. They are masters at stripping away all the noise and focusing only on what is absolutely essential. They simplify. Think about it. Every single time you make something more complicated than it needs to be, you're basically building a wall between you and your goal. You're inviting doubt to the party. But when you simplify, you clear out all that junk. You give yourself a clear line of sight and the confidence to actually move forward. All right, our second tool is a bit of a mind bender, but it's a total game changer for avoiding problems before they even start. It's called inversion thinking. This is what we all ask ourselves, right? It's the standard question. We're laser focused on that finish line, on what success looks like. And that's great. It's optimistic. But it can also make us completely blind to all the traps along the way. And here is the flip. This is so powerful. Instead of just planning for success, you actively identify what would guarantee failure. It might sound a little negative, but it's one of the most strategic things you can do. By knowing exactly what will sink your ship, you can build systems to make sure it never happens. The Stoics had a practice for this called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. It wasn't about being paranoid, it was about being prepared. By thinking through the worst-case scenarios ahead of time, they could act with a calm, steady hand when things inevitably went sideways. It's about being ready, not being scared. Okay, our final tool is all about mental flexibility. Look, the world is messy, it's not black and white. And the people who thrive are the ones who can comfortably live in those gray areas. They embrace paradox. So much of our stress comes from this either-or trap. I'm either a total success or I'm a complete failure. I have to be 100% confident or I can't do it. These are false choices. And thinking is what sets you free. It's the ability to hold 2 ideas that seem to contradict each other at the same time. And this is just so liberating when you get it. You can be afraid and take action. You don't have to wait for the fear to go away. You can fail and learn something incredibly valuable from it. You can be successful and still feel like you're figuring things out. It's okay. Embracing this stops you from getting trapped by your own rigid thinking. Now, these tools are fantastic for taking action right now. But the final piece of the puzzle ties it all together. It's about building a mindset not just for one victory, but for a lifetime of progress. In a world that is completely obsessed with overnight success, this is a radical idea. Most people hit one roadblock and they panic. They throw the whole plan out and jump to the next shiny object. But the top performers, they know that real, lasting success comes from sticking with it, especially when it gets boring or difficult. The Stoics had this beautiful word for the ideal mental state, ataraxia. It's this deep, serene calm, an inner tranquility that isn't shaken by the chaos of the outside world. And it's this state that lets you ride out the storms without freaking out, always keeping your eyes fixed on your long-term goal. Honestly, your greatest achievements will probably come from your ability to just outlast everyone else. When it gets hard, when everyone else is quitting and running for the exit, that's your moment. That's the real test. It's all about patience and the raw determination to just keep putting one foot in front of the other. So after all this, it really just boils down to one simple thing. That vicious cycle of overthinking, it's broken by a single step. Not tomorrow, not next week when you feel ready, but right now. So the question is, what one action, no matter how small, are you going to take today to turn your thoughts into reality?